Okay, so good morning, everyone. During
Morning,
our
sir.
first meeting, I discussed the content of our course syllabus for the newcomers, including the course objectives, topics that we will cover throughout the semester, our class policies, and most importantly, your course requirements. I hope that by this time, everyone is already familiar with what is expected, to you and has started preparing for the requirements assigned to you. As I also mentioned, during our first meeting, our last scheduled meeting will no longer be conducted as a regular class session. And I am giving that time, to all of you so that you can complete and finalize your remaining course requirement, particularly your PowerPoint presentation, pre-recorded video presentation, narrative report, and other required outputs. Therefore, I encourage everyone to manage your time properly and avoid waiting until the last week before completing your requirements. Now, so for our succeeding meetings, we will follow a simple and consistent presentation format. Now, for every assigned topic, I will first provide a brief introduction and uh, background, so that everyone will understand where the topic fits within advanced operating system and why it is important. After my introduction, I will turn over the discussion to the assigned presenter who will given sufficient time to explain the topic based on the assigned coverage. Then after presentation or after the presentation, I will return to the discussion and provide the gist, or the key takeaways or important concept and additional explanations that I believe you need to remember from the topic. I may also clarify certain concept or connect the discussions to actual applications in modern operating system. For your classmate, I also expect your active participation while the presenter is discussing. If you have any questions, comments, clarifications, example, or additional information, you will please post them in our Zoom chat box. You do not have to interrupt the presenter while the discussion is ongoing, because we will collect the questions, and after the presentation, the presenter will be given an opportunity to address them. I may also provide additional clarification whenever necessary. Remember, remember that this is a graduate level class. We are not here simply to listen to presentations. No, we are here to exchange ideas, analyze concepts, ask meaningful questions, and connect theory with actual computing environments and professional practice. Now, okay, thank you so much again and welcome to University of Perpetual Health System, Binyan Campus. So, now that our presentation procedure is clear, we may proceed with our assigned topics for today. Our first presenter is Mr. Allen Jones Aban, who will discuss introduction and current trends in operating system, evolution types, and functions of operating system. Before we proceed, let me briefly introduce the topic. Again, as what I have mentioned during our first meeting, operating systems have evolved significantly from early batch processing system and time-sharing environments, today's sophisticated desktop, mobile, cloud, distributed, virtualized, and embedded computing environment. Understanding this evolution is important because many of the capabilities we now consider normal, multitasking, multiprocessing, virtualization, security, resource management, and user-friendliness interface or user-friendly interfaces are products of decades of operating systems in development. As you listen to the presentation, I want you to think about this question. How have changes in computing technology influenced the way operating systems are designed today? With that, Mr. Allen, you may now proceed with your presentation. The floor is yours.
Sige po, Doc. So let's start our discussion. Loud and clear naman po.
Yes, sir.
So let's start our discussion regarding to introduction and current trends in operating system, evolution types, and its function. So let's start our learning objectives. Define an operating system and its role in computer systems. Describe the evolution of operating system, identifying the differentiate the major types of uh, operating system, explain the basic function and in basic function of OS in managing system resources, discuss the advantage and disadvantage of different OS type, and recognize current development in operating system, including AI, cloud computing, virtualization, and mobile technologies. So first, let's define what is an operating system. An operating system is a collection of software that manage a computer's hardware and application by allocating resources, including memory, CPU, input and output devices, and the file storage. So example of operating system is the MS-DOS from early 80s to 2000s, Windows Server or Windows OS, Linux, Mac OS, Android, and iOS for the mobile operating system. So it provides an environment where a user can execute programs efficiently and conveniently. So it's also manage and controls all computer resources, provides services and resources to user programs, coordinates and monitors program execution to prevent errors, offers a user interface or virtual machine, and hides software complexity, support multiple execution modes for programs. So, how the operating system works? It composed of five components, which is the memory management, process management, file management, device management, and the protection or the security. So first, we talk about a process management. So in operating system, is about managing processes. So a process is a running program. The life cycle of a process is from the moment program start until it finish. So from powering of our program until it's finished. So it manage the following. It's manage scheduling, which is decides which process uses the CPU next. So using algorithm like round robin or priority scheduling. So it manage also synchronization, ensures orderly execution using lock sem semaphores or monitors to prevent race condition. Uh, Deadlock handling detects and prevents situation where processes uh, forever wait forever for resources. It also manage inter-process communication or IPC. So allows process to exchange data by shared memory or message passing. So next in our management is the memory management. So it controls how the data is stored and organized in main memory or primary memory eh, and secondary storage. So it's ensuring program get the memory they need and freeing it when no longer used. So it managed the allocation and the allocation, protection, virtual memory, fragmentation handling, and disk management. Next is the file system management. So it organized and control how the data is stored, named, and accessed on storage devices. So making it easy for users to find and use their files. It contains file attributes such as name, type, size, and permissions. File types like text, binary, and executable files. So operation of file system management can be create, read, write, and delete files. So access method is sequential, direct, and index access for faster retrieval. Next is the device management or the input and output system. So it controls how the computer communicates with the hardware devices like printers or disks using the drivers and techniques to ensure smooth and efficient operations. So use device drivers, which is interface between the hardware and OS, buffering and caching, meaning temporarily store data to match device speed and improve performance. Spooling manage the data waiting to be processed, particularly in devices like printers. So the OS place print jobs in a spool like a temporary storage area, allowing the CPU to continue other tasks while the printer works through the queuing. So lastly, in our management for the OS is the protection and security. So as we know, protection and security is a safeguard system resources from unauthorized access and misuse. So this mechanism controls which process or user can access specific resources such as memory files, and CPU time. So it's also ensured that only authorized users can perform specific action. It manages also the access control, which is limits users and process permissions, authentication, verifies user through credentials, research protection, and then security to guards against malware and denial of service attacks and data theft. So let's talk about a history of operating system or the evolution of our OS. So in 40s to 50s, it is the early beginning of the operating system. So early on that, computers operated without uh, operating system. So meaning it's only a computer like calculator or no GUI at all and operating system. So the first operating system was introduced in 1956. It was a batch processing system or the GMNAA-IO 1956. So it that automated job handling. So moving forward to 1960s, multi-programming and time sharing. So it was multi-programming and time sharing was introduced. and utilize a CPU efficiently. So time sharing system like CTSS on 1961 and Multics on 1969. So it allow multiple users to interact with a single system. So on 1970s, Unix was introduced from 1971. It revolutionized the OS design with simplicity, portability, and multitasking. So personal computer emerged, leading to simpler OS like CP/M on 1974 and PC-DOS or PC-DOS in 1981. So I think my MS-DOS is later on introduced. So going on the 80s, GUI and network was introduced. So graphic users interface gained popularity with the system like Apple Macintosh in on 1984 and Microsoft Windows on 1985. So network features like TCP/IP in Unix became essential for the communication that time. So fast forward for the 1990s. So Linux was introduced on 1991, introduced as a open source development, and then operate other operating systems such as Windows and Mac OS refined the GUIs and gained widespread adoptions. Fast forward to 2000s, early 2000s, and on the present day. So mobility and cloud was introduced. Mobile OS like iOS on 2007 and Android on 2008 was dominated at that time. So cloud-based and virtualization technology reshape computing nowadays, with OS like Windows Server and Linux driving innovation. So this is our time. Um, AI integration, wherein the operating system integrates features of AI technology like Siri, Google Assistants, and Alexa, and it became more powerful and efficient in many ways. So this AI features with operating system, it creates a entirely new features like voice command, predictive text, and personal recommendations. So, uh, the operating system can be classified based on how they manage users, processes, devices, and computing environment. So there are 8 types of operating system. So first is the batch, multi-programming, multitasking or time sharing, multiprocessing, distributed network, real time, and then the mobile operating system. So first we'll talk about the batch operating system. It is designed to handle large group or similar jobs efficiently. So it does not interact with the computer directly, but instead processes jobs that are grouped by an operator. So these jobs are queued and executed one after another without user interaction during the processes. The example of that is the billing system, library book records, and stock market reports. So what are the advantage and disadvantage of uh, batch operating system? The advantage of batch operating system is minimal idle time, handling repetitive repetitive tasks, and improved throughputs that can handle high volume of jobs at once. So improving all system throughput. Um, Disadvantage for that is inefficient CPU utilization and increased response time and lack of real-time feedback. So, second to the types of operating system, the multi-programming OS. So multiple program runs in memory at the same time. So the CPU switches between programs, utilizing its resources more effectively and improving overall system performance. Example for that is the banking system, railway server, and billing machine. So advantage of multi-programming operating system has a better CPU utilization, so it stays busy by switching to another job during the input and output await. Improve throughput and then efficient resource use. If the other hand, disadvantage for that is a complex design and then security issues. So more programs in memory increase chances of unauthorized access. And then high memory requirements. So it needs a larger RAM to run multiple programs together. So next is the multitasking or time sharing operating system. So where each process runs in round robin manners. So every task gets a fixed time slice called a quantum. So after the quantum ends, the OS switches to the next task and allowing multiple tasks, whether from one user or another or many, to run smoothly on a single system. Example of that is the I- IBM VM slash CMS and time sharing option, then Windows terminal services. The advantage of that is the equal CPU access. So each task gets a fair share of CPU time, reduce software um, duplication. So many users can run the same software without needing separate copies, and then low CPU idle time. So the disadvantage is the lower reliability, security concerns, and then the communication issues where the data sharing between users can cause conflict. So next is the multiprocessing OS. So it's a type of OS in which more than one CPU use for the execution of processes. So it betters the throughput of the system. So example for that is the Unix or and Linux, such as Ubuntu, Red Hat, Debian, and then the Kali. So one more example is the Mac OS. Advantage of multiprocessing operating system is the is faster processing. So multiple CPU work simultaneously to increase overall system speed. So high reliability and then support heavy tasks. For disadvantage, it may high cost, complex design, and not always efficient. Next, in OS, types of OS is the distributed OS, where it connects multiple independent computer through a shared communication network. So each system has its own CPU and memory, but works together as a single unit. The main benefits is remote access, allowing users to use files and software stored on other connected system like a Locus or Micros and Amovia. The advantage of distributed operating system, it has faster processing, so multiple CPU work simultaneously, increasing overall system speed. So high reliability, support heavy tasks. However, it may also high cost, complex design, and not always efficient. So next one is the network operating system. So it runs or NOS. It runs on a server and manage data, users, security, application, and other network function. So it allows shared access file, printers, and resources within a small private network. Example for that is the Microsoft Windows Server on 2003, Unix, Linux, and then the Mac OS X. So another example for network operating system is our switches, network switches, something like that. The advantage for that is a independent system. So failure of one machine does not affect the other. So easily and scalable, and then lower processing delays. However, the disadvantage for network operating system, it is a network dependency. So meaning if the main network fails, the communication stops. So lack of standardization, and then high cost and complexity. So hardware is expensive and the software is complex and not widely understood. Let's talk about real-time operating system. So this type of OS serve in real-time or real-time systems. The time interval required to process and response to inputs is very small. So this time interval is called response time. So real-time system are used when there are time requirements that are very strict, like missile system, air traffic control system, robot, etc. So example for that is the scientific experiment and medical imaging system, and then the robots. So in real-time OS, there are two types, which is the hard real-time and the real-time OS. So hard real-time, hard real-time OS use where strict timing is essential and any delay is unacceptable. So example for that is the airbag or automatic parachute. System avoid a virtual memory to ensure immediate response, meaning no delays at all. However, on the other hand, so real-time operating system use where timing is important, ever minor delays are acceptable. So this system aims to give quick, predictable responses, but do not require perfect accuracy. So they are commonly used in multimedia application, gaming, video streaming, and the other interactive tasks. The advantage for real-time OS is the maximum utilization. So error-free. This type of system are error-free. And then the memory allocation. Um, Ever disadvantage for that is the limited task, complex algorithm, and then the thread priority. So it is not good to set thread priority as as this system are not suitable for frequent frequent task switching. So moving on to our last OS, which is the operating system, a mobile operating system. It is designed specifically for mobile devices such as cell phone or smartphone and tablets. Example of such operating system are Android and the iOS. Familiar with that. So this operating system manage the hardware and software resources of the device, providing a platform for running application and ensuring seamless users experience. So advantage of mobile OS is the user-friendly interface and extensive app ecosystem connectivity options. So mobile OS supports a multi-connectivity options, enabling user to stay connected wherever they go. However, the disadvantage for that is battery life constraints and then security risks. So mobile devices are susceptible to various security threats such as malware and phishing attacks. So familiar tayo dun sa malware and phishing attacks, which can compromise a user data. So, and then the fragmentation. I think, Sir Doc Abante, that's all for my topic. Questions po.
Ay, baka iba yun mas ang meeting ID ngayon yung nakaraan siguro ano.
Okay, are you already finished there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much no for your presentation. And thank you po Sir Allen no for that informative presentation. Your discussion gave us a good foundation for understanding how operating system have evolved and why they remain one of the most important components of any computing environment. No? One major takeaway is that the operating system serves as a fundamental intermediary between the user, application software, and computer hardware. Whenever we open an application, save a file, connect a device, or access the internet, the operating system is working behind the scenes to coordinate the resources needed to perform these activities. Another important point is that an operating system performs several critical functions simultaneously. It manages processes, memory, files, storage, input and output device, security, and other system resources. Let's say, for example, when several applications are running at the same time, the operating system determines how process time and memory will be allocated among them. In this sense, we can think of the operating system as the manager of the entire computer system, ensuring that different applications and hardware components can operate efficiently without unnecessarily interfering with one another. And we should also recognize that operating systems continue to change because the computing environment itself continues to evolve. Today, operating system must support not only traditional desktop and laptop computer, but also mobile devices, cloud platforms, virtual machines, distributed systems, embedded devices, and Internet of Things or IoT environments. So technologies, can you hear me po, class? Can you hear me?
Yes po.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so thank you
Yes
so
Yes
much.
po,
po,
Doc.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so again, as I mentioned, today, operating systems must support not only traditional desktop and laptop computers, but also mobile devices. Meron na tayong cloud platforms, no, virtual machines, distributed systems, embedded devices, and Internet of Things or IoT environments. No? Technologies such as virtualization and cloud computing have changed the way organizations deploy and manage computing resources, while cybersecurity concerns have made access control, meron tayong authentication, encryption, and system protection increasingly important responsibilities of modern operating system. Another emerging consideration is the growing influence of artificial intelligence and automation because modern computing environments increasingly use intelligent mechanism no for resource optimization, security monitoring, workload management, predictive maintenance, and system performance. This means that operating systems are no longer simply platforms for running application because right now they are becoming part of increasingly interconnected, automated, and intelligent computing ecosystem. So, as we study advanced operating systems, I encourage everyone not to focus only on familiar examples such as Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. More importantly, we should understand the principles behind them. How are resources allocated? How are processes controlled? How is memory managed? How is security maintained? And how can operating system adapt to emerging technologies? So these questions will provide the foundation for the succeeding topics in the course. Okay, thank you so much and congratulations to our first presenter.